It's a chance for the substitute, Ilyas! Well, North East are appealing to the assistant, but the flag has stayed down, and Ilyas has got FC1's third goal of this Indian Oil Durand Cup. But was there a hint of offside in that?
Very surprising over there. But look at that run. Maybe very tight over there.
Lộn
Only
xuống
one
này.
can tell it. He cannot tell this about naked eye, but what he did was a clinical finish over there. Gets inside from that wide range. The goalkeeper coming out and just guides that ball in.
But a nice moment for Ilyas, the substitute. Northeast leading by 3-1. Here's Ankith. Does well. Great ball in. Just missed by Rinzuala. Aftab pushed it away. Quality ball in, asking questions in the middle. Rinzuala couldn't apply the finishing touch. Ninkovic have to be quick here, Northeast, if they want to add another. Better looking ball in. It's come off Sahid, and we'll go for a corner, but there won't be time to take it as the referee brings the game to a close, and Northeast United close out their group campaign with 3 wins. 2 more goals coming in the second half, a couple for Partib and an obligatory goal from Aladdin Ajere after he came off the bench. Interesting to get a few minutes for Ninkovic as well. Moyano control things in midfield, but all in all, job well done from Northeast United, who beat FC1 by 1-1.
Motivating Mondays, thrilling Tuesdays, wholesome Wednesdays, energizing Thursdays, action-packed Fridays, spirited Saturdays, heroic Sundays. No 2 days are the same when you join Indian Army.
Having already secured top spot in Group A, Mumbagan Super Giants look to make it 3 wins out of 3 as they take on a CISF Protectors side who conceded 8 against Mumbagan last time out. We've moved from the BYBK to the Kishore Bharti in Kolkata for match number 29. And the early kickoff of 2 matches today. Let's see if that suits their play. It is Murmbagan, super giant in their familiar maroon and green, kicking from right to left in the first half, looking to keep up their 100% record as they have already booked their place in the quarterfinals of Durand Cup. Chest off for Liston Galasso. Subasic forward early and straight away. Drazic. Oh, lovely ball inside the fullback. Tapa. Manvir's in the middle. Sahil just holding his position. Sahal just holding his position. It is Sahal! And it's the opening goal of the game in the 17th minute. The numbers streaming forward in maroon and green. And Sahal, who scored in the opening game against East Bengal to win the derby, has put his side ahead here against CISF, who defended resolutely for a quarter of an hour, but in the end they were just overrun, and Sahal gets another goal on his CV. Maybe lose their patience a little bit. Drazic is onside, Sahal's in the middle, and it's a simple goal. The flag stays down. Another defence-splitting pass has opened up CISF, who've been caught out with that high line again. And a simple finish for Sahal, who's now on a hat-trick.
Fantastic piece of work. What a penetrative pass that was between the defenders. Simply did not judge that. They were a little bit high, and Sahal, we know he's a free man over there. Nice run over there. Can't just make out from our angle whether he was on the offside, but Sahal, he keeps that ball inside. They have some ideas over there for CISF. As soon as they get the ball, you will see 1 or 2 players on the wings, and that's going to be interesting. Sahil, Kumar, Gopal, they've really shown that they can really pass.
Manvia! Oh, stubbed over by Abiy Mitai. It's offside. I think that hit the goalkeeper in the face.
Yeah.
Metap, who's taken over the number 5 shirt vacated by Tom Aldred, having worn 55 last season. Lovely ball into Manvir, gets the ball out of his feet, and that is what he does best. Another striker's goal from Manvir Singh, and Murmbagan lead by 3 goals to 0. And he backs up his hat-trick in the last game with another goal here, and a nice, well-taken finish. Murmbagan lead 3-0.
Super stuff here. What an entertaining football this is. Players just putting that ball, looking at it, penetrative ball between the 2 defenders, and Manvir really makes that first touch count.
Jarvish Makwan. Look at the speed from Sahal. He's got Manvir with him. Might want to go on his own here. Sahal for the hat-trick. Still going. Lovely feet. What a goal. Great individual goal. He's teased the defenders. He's teased the goalkeeper. And he has a hat-trick. Inside 21 minutes.
What a way he goes inside. The acceleration was there. Manvir moving on the other side. But look at him. His composure, calmness in front of the goal. Exactly knows what he wants to do there. He looks at Manvir. How can you do that in front of the goal? The 2-3 defenders in front of him, very calmly, composedly, just pushes the ball inside. What a skill that is.
Subasic. Great ball. Should have been another one for Manvir. Well, maybe that's where he's just lacking a little bit ahead of that time. The ball just skidded across his forehead. He only had to get a good contact on it.
Well, it's going to take a toll on them, If they have the rhythm, they have to go for it.
Good ball through. Manvir's in again, and he's put it wide again. And that could be his last action, because Jamie McLaren is going to come on, but Manvir could have had 4 goals now.
A fantastic player. what a quality he is. Look at that acceleration once again between the defenders from behind. Nobody really reading him.
Rajdeep coming on for his second appearance off the bench. It's the first appearance for Durand. And here, Jamie McLaren. And you almost know that is going to happen. Mande had several opportunities in a similar position. But when the ball falls to Jamie McLaren, there is usually only one outcome. And he's off and running for the new season. Mohammedan lead 5-0. He's only been on the field a matter of minutes. And Jamie McLaren has his first goal of this 135th edition of the Durand Cup.
We were just talking about his quality, about his positioning in the game. And look at him. The run was inch perfect. The ball was put in very well between the defenders.
It's really interesting to watch his 2 seasons at Punjab because he seemed to have a great quality, and now he's inherited a quality. He's just done it another. Abi Mitai gets in on the act. Brilliant finish. Had all the time in the world there to find the top corner and gets his first goal for Mohammedan.
There's been a goal first here, right from the word go. When we were talking that CIS were defending pretty well with too many numbers of yellows behind, but all of a sudden there's an onslaught here, and that smile from him. Look at the late run coming inside the box.
Yeah, just a free kick, even at this late stage of the game. Last attack probably out for CISM. That's into the gap for Gurp Albert. Just a tired looking set of players out there now as the referee's whistle goes. A comfortable win for Mohammedan, a hat-trick from Sahal. Manvir, Jamie McLaren.
Every cover you imagine, we've got a caliber to fight. Synchronized. Motivating Mondays. Thrilling Tuesdays. Wholesome Wednesdays. Action-packed Fridays. Saturdays. Heroic Sundays. No 2 days are the same when you join Indian Army.
Quarterfinal 4 explodes live from beautiful Shillong. Home heroes, Shillong Lajong hunt ultimate glory. Defending kings, Northeast United unleash total power. Two heavyweights collide for one semi-final ticket. Brace yourself for pure Northeast Derby madness.
Well, by the end of this evening, the semi-final lineup will be complete in the 135th Indian Oil Durand Cup. Two old rivals go head-to-head tonight. It's Shillong Lajong against the two-time defending champions Northeast United at the JLN Stadium here in Shillong. Great footballing venue. Very cool. Bit of rain around, which will just make conditions a little bit soft and slippery out on the field, but a really high humidity tonight as well, which may have an impact on both sets of players. But really looking forward to this. These sides have gone head-to-head in 4 Durand Cups. Northeast United have always come out on top, and by some margins as well. Those Shillong fans, though, are hopeful that their team can get back into this one tonight. Prajam Reddy joins me for the final of the 4 semi-finals tonight. Those crowd. Let's go and hear from Major Dickon Singh about the Durand Cup.
Hey!
I would give you a brief update on the conduct of the 135th edition of the Durand Cup, which is being played these days. The unveiling of the trophy and the flag off ceremony was done by the Honorable President of India on 7th of July at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Thereafter, trophy tours were conducted at 4 locations, that is at Ranchi, Imphal, Shillong and Guwahati. The broad organization of the Durand Football Tournament Society is that the Chief of Defence Staff is the President, and the Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Naval Staff and Chief of Air Staff are the Vice Presidents. They have delegated the authority to conduct the Durand Cup to Eastern Command of the Army, in which the Army Commander is the patron. Thereafter, we have local organizing committees at each location. This year, we have had a very healthy participation, in which number of teams from ISL, Indian Football League, and local clubs have participated. This has ensured that youngsters and budding players get to rub shoulders with seasoned players. That being the overall aim of Durand Cup, to promote football in the country. Apart from the awards which were given last year, the cash prizes and other awards are same. However, we have added one more award this year. In each pool, we will be giving award to emerging player. This will be a cash award of 1 lakh rupees. We have not legislated the numbers in each pool. Every deserving footballer will get the prize at each location at the end of the tournament. At this stage, I would like to thank our Honorable President for supporting this tournament. I would like to give my special thanks to all the state governments, that is of Jharkhand, Manipur, Meghalaya, Assam, and West Bengal, for their unstinted support, without which we wouldn't have been able to conduct the tournament. Our sponsors deserve special credit: IOCL, the State Bank of India, and Coal India Limited, and our broadcasters, Sony TV. My thanks also goes to All India Football Federation for allowing us to conduct the tournament and supporting the tournament. The armed forces have really supported this tournament and at each location. And I'm also thankful to Cherry Tree for ensuring that this tournament is conducted in technically sound way. Sports, and especially football, what does it bring to the table? It is the discipline, it is the well-being, it is togetherness, the team spirit, and the spirit of healthy competition. This is what football does. And the overall aim of Durand Cup is to promote football as also the bring up level of football across the country so that India finds its place in the world football in time to come. Now we are done with the league at the quarterfinal stages and we are looking forward to exciting semi-finals which are scheduled on 19th and 20th of August and the finals on 23rd of August which will be held at Kolkata. We look forward to you all coming in large numbers, supporting your teams, encouraging the players, and we will hope to see wonderful standard of football. Jai Hind.
Well, Major General DK Singh there. Just a big...
Listener sebelah nah.
Hah?
Listener sebelah.
Alat kah?
Hah?
Alat.
Kan?
Alat ya.
Hah?
Din alat hatang sulit lu dinnya dibungkus dengan semen. Din ada alat.
Salah.
The last one had 7 goals.
Ya yang hati biji.
Hah?
Hati biji ya.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Kenapa?
Sedang mentah-mentah.
Sini kan apa?
Terang aktivitas juga lebih susah.
They'll be hoping that
Shillong lah.
they can
Nampak. Dia
make
ada
that step
tinggi.
up. Hey,
Dia ada
good
tinggi.
defending there from Miriam, just shoulder him out of
Ah, tukut buat dia lihat.
Baik.
the way and let the ball go behind for a goal
Ya.
kick.
Baik. Iya. Gimana nih?
comfortably.
Lebih mak. London meet up
Hả?
kalah tu.
Lệ chứ.
Could have been asking questions.
Thì được rồi nhỉ.
Terima.
Walaupun karena omelet sausage trap. Malah
Played by
papanya
Ashia though, who
punya
just kept with him and made sure he couldn't get that ball across.
Good positive run from Nelson. That's what you want to see. Replacement coming in for Ever Bryson. Now he's going to have to put in a shift as a lone man up front. At times he'll have to look to threaten that back line of North East United. The question is, can he
atasnya di kota final Shillong nanti.
hold the ball up and bring into play the likes of Jota and Figo Sindai?
Kira
Ever Bryson did so well in the previous game.
Shillong Lajong FC hari ini. Oh, iya, Shillong Lajong FC hari ini.
Might turn into a good ball for Chitin.
Tim hai.
Great ball in, and Jerry! Over the top.
Jadi Ajari.
And again, how the conditions played a part in that. That's normally easy pickings for a striker of Aladdin Ajare's quality. But this time he's got underneath it and the ball's gone skied over the top.
Yeah, it was in an offside position, so had he scored, the flag had gone up from the assistant referee. But it's uncharacteristic miss from Aladdin Ajare from so close. But as rightly said, the conditions very, very testing conditions. But what is being tested at the moment is the captain, Ken Starr. He's getting caught out a couple of times trying to go man for man with his player and getting caught into positions where it doesn't really need to be getting sucked out.
Jerry's actually quite lucky he didn't have a heavy collision with the post there, because he did make contact with the post, but no harm done. Went out on loan in Indonesia last season, of course, after the uncertainty with the ISL.
Masih belum dipikir saya.
Fans were delighted when it was announced he was coming back, though. Here's Jota. Splashing around, cleared away by Abdul Rabi. Abdul Rabi, another forward player that's been converted into a fullback. It seems to be the thing in India. Ball played by Arthur Pangara, who seems to have recovered from that knock earlier on.
Apa kan dia sudah ada baik.
Valpe. Good tackling back by McCartan. Referee gives the free kick.
Ada sebentar.
Yeah, just tough conditions to carry the ball, be running with the ball. It was so instrumental last season in playing in that base of the midfield. Really good pass through the ball, breaks up play very efficiently, just like you've seen him right there. That's exactly what we talked about. That's what he's in the squad for. But carrying the ball and being a progressive ball carrier, not necessarily his strength.
Sutrastegui, replacement for Miguel Zabacco, who was such a great servant for North East United in that position. Lovely ball, and Jerry's in again here, surely this time! The quick feet work once more as he flicks it around Saka and into the empty net. And Aladdin Ajare, just moments after having one that went over, even though he was in an offside position, will celebrate another goal to go level with Rodriguinho on 7. Another tiny finish, such a good finisher in those positions, and another goal for Aladdin Ajare.
The absolute quality of the finish, even in these conditions. It's a wonderful ball. He's timed his run to perfection, gets him behind the defender. Great first touch. First touch just takes the defender. Second touch takes the keeper out of the equation. Third touch puts it into the back of the net. Top quality finishing from a top quality striker. You have to give it credit. The
ball played in as well. Really good assist. Diagonal ball. But should you be beaten so easily by a long ball? Question marks are the two Brazilian centre-backs for Shillong Lajong. But Aladin Najare has done it to so many players, so many times. It's the quality of the timing of his run.
Well, he scores goals consistently. It's too far ahead of Ajare. Jewetson will allow that to run back to Saka. Stumble from Dalmate, but managed to recover. Ball looking for Sendai, who is well marshalled there by Radim Talang. Very experienced, of course, Radim on the captain's armband on tonight. And there is the top scorers. 7 apiece for Rodriguinho, who's had such a brilliant introduction himself into Indian football with Sporting Delhi, who maybe surprised 1 or 2 people with their performances to get to the final. And semi-finals rather. East Bengal, of course, were pushed all the way by Indian Army last night. And then Mer began winning 9-8 on penalties against Jamshedpur earlier on. Well played by Valpay. And Lieutenant Jure trying to backtrack and do some defensive work. Dalmate. Heavy challenge from Moyano. It's Ashir, sorry, with a challenge.
Really like a challenge. In these conditions, obviously, it looks a lot worse than it was. Some players struggling to keep their footing as you go to ground. And they're the Lajong faithful, we hope. Gladdy can work some magic with his delivery here. The big Brazilians going up front. Jewetson, as long as Ken Starr will be the real targets that they're aiming for inside the box. Ken Starr very dangerous for set pieces. Durand Cup will have to try and make amends for their defensive lapses early on in this game.
Kinabukan. Right, please.
A little bit tricky for goalkeepers with a slippery ball. Clearly just trying to get those in front of him organised. And he's whipped him with a little bit of pace, but he's too pacey for everyone in the middle.
A really good delivery that would have worked well on the training ground. On a dry day. Conditions like this, as soon as that ball bounces inside the box, there's only one place who's going to skip out to. Jewetson just had no chance of getting round at the back and trying to get that crucial touch.
You just saw Barendra Thapa there, the coach, who's spent almost 2 decades at Shillong Lajong. Great association he's had with the club, having played for them and now coaching them. Nelson, solid from Ashir Akhtar. Dinesh's back on the bench tonight. Ashir came in for the last game after Dinesh was suspended. Well played by Moyano. Northeast trying to move the ball as quick as they can on this surface. Jitin. That's a poor ball in though from Jitin. You can see the 2 in the middle, Bepian and Chiare. Pedro Benali won't be happy with that, having got into a good position there, Jitin. That is a poor cross by his standards.
I think Pedro Benali happy in terms of how his midfield's working. The likes of Mayakan and Moyano So having a look at challenge and redeem, it just shows you how the conditions are very, very difficult for players. And that's probably where the Brazilians probably struggling to get to grips with playing in these kind of conditions.
It's going to bounce all the way through to Gurmeet. Pedro Benali, of course, has elevated himself to hero status really here at the North East with the 2 Durand Cup wins. Didn't have the greatest of seasons last season without their talisman Jerry. They really missed his goal scoring. He's Jitin. Maybe a chance to make amends for that cross a moment or so ago. It's away from him by Ken Starr. Sindai dispossessed by Jitin, trying to make amends for that loss of the ball.
It's going to be difficult conditions for players like Jitin, like Figo, players who like to carry the ball and take players on. It's not exactly the ideal conditions for them. Although his pace to get in behind will cause problems, especially as Ken Starr seems to be getting caught high up the field and getting caught in behind on more than one occasion.
Another free kick for North East United. Hoisted long again. Johansson, did he get a touch on that? Has gone for a corner, has it? No, it doesn't look like it has. It must have gone all the way through, but just didn't seem to quite command that situation there with Kirian behind him.
Yeah, for me, Mark, that's got to be the goalkeeper. You look how deep that ball's coming from, and it was one of the criticisms of Ronald Saka in the previous game. So here's a chance now for Nelson.
Good ball across, just too far ahead. And Gladdy! But not for Sindai, who fires home beyond Gurmeet to put Shillong Lajong level. Well, it looked as though the chance might have gone with that ball across when he was too far of the man in the middle. But Sindai has come up with a brilliant finish to score his first goal in this competition on his first start. And put Shillong Lajong back level 1-1.
Typical Shillong Lajong hitting teams on the break. Another long ball, defensive error from Santos. Trying to just lay that into the path of Gladdy. Missed everyone. Figo was there, and in these conditions, had enough time to take that extra touch, just settle himself, and cleverly just lift that over Gurmeet, keep sliding in to try and save that ball. But really good of Shillong Lajong now to get back immediately into the game. And once again, you'd have to say that's got to go down. It was a bit of a defensive error in terms of the centre back misjudging the flight of that ball and letting Nelson in behind.
Figo Sindai, who was at Lansing, was as a youth player before joining Shillong, came on late on against his former club. He has only appeared 3 times as a sub. Nelson in behind. Radim Talang getting back well. Gladdy just too high for Jota and behind for a goal kick, but that's just lifted the spirits of Shillong Lajong. You could see Juan Pedro Benali wasn't happy that his side had conceded a goal. They would have loved a clean sheet against FC1 in their last group game, but it wasn't to be, and they conceded here as well.
It's not a surprise that the goal came down the left-hand side of Northeast United's defence, playing with a makeshift fullback. And Rabi still probably going to have to learn that position. See, up against the likes of Jota, he's going to get pulled out of position a couple of times, which in turn will pull the centre-backs out of position. And And that's something when they come up against the better sides. They've conceded goals.
Crew just
ให้เล่น
won
คาร์โน่
of their 6 games last year, won 5 of this United on the way to
Ani
winning the
abone
title.
ka-
Crew against Rangers, 5 of this United on the way to
Ani
winning the
abone ka-
title. Crew against Rangers United.
Kaya la
We
pa
had
niya
the final, of
Helwell
course,
Hotel.
Diamond Harbour being
Kaya la pa
6-1.
niya Hotel,
It
Helwell
really
Hotel.
was a one-sided final.
Oh.
And a Jerry on the score sheet as usual. That's too far ahead of Chitty. Valpay trying to turn, quickly closed down by Maya. Kieran's throw. Alan did a Jerry gave Northeast United the lead. There you go, Sendai levelling up a few moments ago. It's the 135th edition of the Indian Oil Durand Cup, powered by State Bank of India and Coal India Limited, organised by the Indian Armed Forces and supported by the government of Meghalaya. More slipping and sliding going on to give possession away. Johnson just seems to have settled now. It would have taken him a while to get his head around the conditions. All over the top for Jota to chase. Abdul Rabi got back well though, just got his body in the way and made sure that that was going to run away from Jota.
Abdul Rabi having to use every last bit of his pace to make that recovery. Jota just should have probably tried to just get ahead of him or get across him, and that always asks the defenders a tough question. Risk of giving away a penalty, but the conditions once again just as it skips through, and this looks like something which Gurmeet has been guilty of in the past as well, of time wasting. And we see the rules have changed now. You take more than the allotted time, it's an immediate corner kick for the opposition team. You don't have to warn him, you don't have to give him a yellow card, it's straight up corner kick, and that'll teach him.
You just wonder one or two goalkeepers are possibly going to learn the hard way. Gladdy with the corner. Northeast will hope this doesn't come to anything. There's a player down. It was Arthur Pangaro that went down in the box. Not too sure whether Etienne has just kept that in play or not. It has gone for another corner. So Northeast putting themselves under a little bit of pressure here.
Yep, it's a needless corner to give away in the first place by the goalkeeper. A heavy touch from Etienne has given away another corner. Looks like it's Figo this time to try and curl it in. Will it be the outswinger?
Looks like it is the outswinger. A little bit lower this time, away by McCartan. Kiriam flipped it through and Gladdy with a touch. Gurmit does a bit of a gamble to get rid of that one. Jitin. Oh, gets away from the keeper, but again, he's just pushed that too far ahead of him. Alan Jerry wanted that one played a little bit earlier through the middle. But Jitin's pace, usually so reliable, just that heavy touch past the goalkeeper.
What a sequence of play. It could have been Lajong taking the lead from this wonderful cross. Great chance anywhere else but straight at the keeper. But this is clever from the goalkeeper. Immediately sets off a counter-attack that releases Jitin at its pace. Does well. Sort of ride the challenge. You wonder, does he go down there? The keeper probably gets sent off. Tries to stay on his feet, be honest. He's never catching up with the ball in these conditions.
Jerry's not happy about something. He's just incurred the wrath of Pratik Mondal. I thought he should have had a foul for that, and then tries to keep hold of the ball. Three of them round him. Jerry just needs to cool down a little bit. You could see there's only one thing on his mind there, that was trying to get the ball in. He hasn't got it cleanly off Alpay and given away another free kick.
Yeah, just clear.
Bila lang itu.
Clear foul, but clever play from Vaife, grabbing hold of Medina Jari's jersey, almost trying to con the referee into giving the decision in his favour. It's good work from the youngster in midfield.
Kenstop. Ball hoisted back in again towards Jota. Came off Abdul Rabi, who didn't get it cleanly. Nelson with a shot which was blocked. Now a long ball forward for North East. Johnson just with a simple chest down to Kiriam. Game just starting to open up a bit as we get towards the half-hour mark now. Nelson coming through again. Ashir Akhtar is there to tidy things up. Another block from Maya Cannon, but this is good pressure from Shillong Lajong, who weren't phased by falling behind in the game. They've mounted a pretty good response, got the equaliser, and are trying to keep some pressure on Gurmeet's goal. Gladdy to take the corner. Comfortable header away from McCartan. Did reach the semi-final, Shillong Lajong, in the 2011-12 season when they were beaten by Churchill Brothers. It always seems to be North East United that's held up their progress over the last couple of seasons. Jota. That will be a goal kick.
He just jogged my memory, Mark, about Shillong Lajong in the semi-finals and back in the days when it was played in Ambedkar in Delhi. I think I got sent off in that game.
I'm sure conditions weren't like they are tonight. Hoisted up in the air by Radim. It's very difficult for North East with their Spanish players, Moyano, who was so influential in their last couple of games, but Ajare getting increasingly frustrated with some of the treatment he's getting tonight.
That's a good battle at the moment between Namlalian Vaife and Aladin Ajare. Ajare can't just come inside and play in those little half spaces where it causes so many problems, and Namlalian doing very well to stick with him.
Moyano with the free kick, but again, Ajare pointing where he should have played it. Etienne telling him where he should have played it. Antonio Moyano, who played for Diamond Harbour, of course, last season. 5 goals in their promotion campaign. Arthur Pangaro. To play by the third Brazilian, Jota. Away by Moyano. Ajare. Etienne. Now McCartan. Run by Etienne. Johansson goes with him.
Abianan lang niya. Ulay tama.
New voice.
May na hay man. Hil na ito.
Pala ko lapan niya.
Jackie heads it forward. Dean comes across and wins the loose.
Bea tiap pa.
Ya hả?
Put me this spam. Pilih this pa on the
Aiเป็นทางดังเนี่ยเป็นเยอะไปท่องกา
Ball. Cheating, trying to flick it down.
cũng là
ท่องกันนะก็สุดไปสิ่งเสีย
Line. Well played by Shillong. Gladdy.
thọ CR
แล้วนั่นเนี่ย
Ball over the top. Flag stays down here. Kermit's got walkabout. And Gladdy could roll this in. And Gladdy roll it in. Well, Kermit's fortunate that he didn't handle that because he
CR
E A
would surely have been sent off. But Gladdy is rounding the keeper
E
to put Shillong Lajong in front for the first time. Jota rather.
I'm a complete
Great finish.
at this base.
And Shillong Lajong having trailed by a goal.
Short time is run to perfection.
Black
It's away from Figo Sinda again, who scored the first.
yeah
Figo's just got to throw everything at it. If he just lunges towards that, any sort of touch would have possibly taken it past Godwin. They possibly need that luxury of one more goal, like Savalabina Jare, the way he took it.
May model niya na.
ada Star Wars
Alang eh.
That hasn't looked very assured at times. It's certainly sign of frustrating Northeast United at the moment.
You just saw Jare's reaction there. That's a heavy touch by Ashir Akhtar. He's not happy with the service he's getting tonight, Paladin and Jare.
Kuat atau apa mah?
ชอบไปตั้ง
Hil nanti mah. Kan saya ingat. Besan. Kuat atau mah ganti pernah bentar MMD kasut.
มันชอบไปงาน
Another free kick going Shillong's way. We mentioned earlier on, Brad, them being noisy neighbours. They're definitely being noisy at the moment.
Yeah, definitely being rattled over here by Shillong Lajong. Done really well not to panic, having gone a goal down. A silly goal to given away in the manner in which they gave it. Just a long ball that beaten the player. To come back, score one. Glad he's had some chances too.
Better defending from northeast. That will come back at pace to Gurmit, who again looking to bowl the ball out quickly as he did not too long ago, and had a great chance. Such a Steggy. Sindai. Damate. Figo Sindai on the chase again. Ashir Akhtar goes across. Gets enough on it to concede the throw. Proving to be a bit of a handful now, both Sindai and Jota on this near side.
Yeah, we've seen glimpses of Jota last season for Chan Murray. Showed flashes of brilliance when he got the ball at his feet. And Durand Cup was trying to make him into a more well-rounded player. Doesn't just play in fits and bursts. And can come and be a key player to them this season in terms of just getting on the ball, holding the ball up, linking play rather than just winger that stayed out wide and like to take on fullbacks.
It's even more impressive the result of the scoreline at the moment for Shillong Lajong to say that without their top scorer who's suspended. Boys that have come in, those changes made, done a good job so far. 6 to go to half time. Durand just overcommitted himself. He's a little out of position now, trying to get back to Jota. Kiriam gets the cross out well, headed away by Redeem. Straight to Jota. Kiriam. Gladdy. Shot takes a deflection. He's got that off his own man. Will be a goal kick.
Great defending from the former Lajong man. Brilliant plan. Come around that back post.
To the corner again, but just run out of play. Redeem forward to take this. Maybe get some distance on him. From a Carton, shooted by Galpe. Bashir. Backing by Redeem again. Kenstar's header. Chitin got up highest. Moyano. Chitin. He's trying to pass that one through to Ajare. I think it certainly wasn't a shot from Chitin, but comfortable for Saka. They almost seemed in two minds, Chitin there.
He's having a little bit, maybe too much time on the ball. He's not sure what he was trying to do. He's trying to curl that in towards the far post.
Carton. Chipped in again towards Ajare. There's a clash of heads to it. Here's the man that's gone down. It'll be a free kick.
Yeah, just a clash of heads as he's gone up. Ajare, always aggressive in the box, to go and try and win it. Just makes contact with the back of Joedson's head. And that's good work from his teammates to say, come on, just get on with it, don't need the physio, we need to make sure we play 11 against 11 in these last few minutes of the first half. Got to make sure they take this advantage into the half-time break. If they can do that, you can see them very frustrated and they're already rattled looking North East United side. Make sure we can do that for as long as possible. Probably take some solace in the way which I'm sure we played in the previous game against, especially at home. Lajong are a force to be reckoned with.
Durand just kept in the corner by Jota. Just getting themselves into a little bit of trouble there, North East United. See Satra Stegi almost questioning why that ball wasn't cleared away earlier on. If you came short and got the little flick on that, Kenstar will get there before Chitin. Suddenly stopped in his tracks by Redeem Talang. Shillong, could they get another one before half time?
Yeah, just fractionally offside.
Hallo, bereit, bye.
Impressive. Fingleton has come in
Oh,
today.
bye, subscribe,
Wondered
subscribe.
why, whether Frankie Bomb's carrying an injury or whether it was tactical reasons. But whatever the reason, that was got that decision spot on at the moment.
was behind him, but Ruby had pushed up. Now Jota. They tried to turn, and then Nelson gets the shot in, but can't keep it down. They're just getting themselves into a bit of trouble. North East United.
Yeah, just caught sixes and sevens, and this is unfortunate. He just loses his footing as he's about to strike the ball. Just looking at the stats, you would not have thought before this match kicked off that Lajong would have almost made twice as many passes as North East United, created twice as many chances, and they've scored at the moment twice as many goals.
And here they come again. It's going to land onto the roof of the net. Some really good positive play that are really getting the crowd on his feet at the moment. Retro tap that it does favour that aggressive attacking style. It's the reason he likes the 4-3-3. You can see the way that the front three have worked together. Sancho Stegi. Sancho getting back to help out his defenders.
That's really good demanding behaviour from Durand Cup even toward the end of the first half, making sure the likes of Jota might have scored a goal. You've got to get back and do your share of defending, especially these last few seconds of the first half.
Played the 4 minutes added time, and in fact there is the whistle from Prati Mondo. All the first half it was Alan Dinajare put North East United in front, but Shillong Lajong turned it around. Figo Sindai getting the equaliser, and then Jota 15 minutes later putting Shillong Lajong in front for the first time. Could they be on the way to beating North East United for the first time in 5 attempts in the Durand Cup? Half time it's Shillong Lajong 2, North East United 1, but lots more football to come in this one in the second half. As you were mentioning, the stats there, the position, Shillong Lajong more shots, more on target, more corners as well. It was very much their half, but they played a better football after they conceded that first goal.
Yeah, certainly, Mark. You look at the stats, and as we see the highlights, they had a little bit of a nervy start, which is bizarre being the home side. They started slower, didn't quite adapt to the conditions. The conditions were quite treacherous as the match kicked off.
Yeah, Reading, Emily, when it started, these two near neighbours, of course, great rivalry, but North East United, who always come out on top in 4 previous meetings, started brightly. Sancho Stegi, one of the new faces for the new season, heading just over the top. But then, the man who can't stop scoring when he plays in India, Alan Dinajare, another great goal, got there ahead of Joe Edson, rounded Saka, and just rolled it into an empty net. 7 goals in the tournament for him, joint top scorer with Ellis, Rodriguinho. You always get the feeling that he's not quite, certainly got a little bit frustrated. But that was the goal that put North East United ahead. But that seemed to spark Shillong Lajong into life. They got themselves back into it. Figo Sindai, after a brilliant ball across from Nelson, levelling things up. And this is where Shillong really started to take control of the match.
And this is where Shillong Lajong pushed numbers forward, were brave, were aggressive. Bloody anywhere apart from straight at the goalkeeper. Would have been 2-1 at that stage, but it wasn't long. They had to wait. Moments later, another mistake at the back, pushing up and playing a very high line. A dangerous thing to do when Jota's in the opposition. Timed his run to perfection, rounded the keeper, and then had the composure to pass that into the back of the net to put by 2-1 up in this game. There's still time for a few more moments from Shillong Lajong. And that was a very, very ragged-looking North East United finish the first half, and hopefully they can regroup and come back in the second half.
Yeah, they've got work to do. Shillong Lajong will sense the victories within their grasp. It's a long 45 minutes about to come for them. They lead 2-1 at half-time. Join us again for the second half in just a moment.
am one person who was very much afraid of death.
Too much of water.
The more you breathe in peace, the better you do in war.
भारतीय सेना सिर्फ सीमाओं की रक्षा नहीं, बल्कि सड़कें, पुल बनाने से लेकर पर्यावरण, आपदा सहायता, कौशल विकास और शिक्षा के जरिए राष्ट्र निर्माण में भी अपनी अहम भूमिका निभाती है। और यही सेवा भाव स्वास्थ्य सेवा में भी साफ दिखाई देता है। जहां पहुंचना मुश्किल है, वहां भारतीय सेना जरूरी स्वास्थ्य सेवाएं सीधे उन लोगों तक पहुंचाती है जिन्हें इसकी सबसे अधिक जरूरत होती है। Motivating Mondays, thrilling Tuesdays, wholesome Wednesdays, energizing Thursdays, action-packed Fridays, spirited Saturdays, heroic Sundays. No 2 days are the same when you join Indian Army.
कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स में तिरंगा स्टेडियम की हवा से नहीं लहराता, वो लहराया है इन खिलाड़ियों की सांसों के जोर से। लवलीना बोरगोहेन जी, जय कुमार जी, शर्मिला धानकर जी और अश्मिता जी, जिन्होंने देश के गले में 39 पदक जो है वो डाल दिए। भारत माता की
Commonwealth Special सुबह से शुक्रवार रात 9 बजे सोनी लाइव और सोनी एंटरटेनमेंट टेलीविजन पर।
इस बार क्राइम पेट्रोल में हम ऐसे केसेस सामने लाना चाह रहे हैं जिन्होंने देश को हिला दिया। हमें घबराना नहीं है, हमें समझना है, क्योंकि ये आज हो रहा है। ऐसे ही कुछ केसेस में मैं रहूंगा आपके साथ समझेंगे क्राइम पेट्रोल के नए सीजन में। क्राइम पेट्रोल, क्राइम का करंट सीजन।
क्राइम पेट्रोल 31 अगस्त से सोनी एंटरटेनमेंट टेलीविजन और सोनी लिव पर।
थोड़ा इधर आ जाओ, थोड़ा इधर। हाँ, थोड़ा ये एंगल से लो ना। हाँ, और आप भी थोड़ा इधर आओ, इधर इधर। भाई आप भी है, थोड़ा बैठो नीचे, थोड़ा नीचे। सामने देखो, सामने। ठीक है सब बराबर? गुड टू गो। सामने देखो, सामने। हाँ।
I am one person who was very much afraid of death.
Too much of water.
The more you breathe in peace, the better you do in war.
चुनौती के लिए अब युद्ध सीमाओं तक सीमित नहीं। ये लड़ाई है डेटा, साइबर और स्पेस की। तीनों सेनाएं थल, जल, नभ अब एक सोच, एक तालमेल और एक संकल्प के साथ खड़ी है। Mondays, thrilling Tuesdays, wholesome Wednesdays, energizing Thursdays, action-packed Fridays, spirited Saturdays, heroic Sundays. No 2 days are the same when you join Indian Army. भारतीय सेना सिर्फ सीमाओं की रक्षा नहीं, बल्कि सड़कें, पुल बनाने से लेकर पर्यावरण, आपदा सहायता, कौशल विकास और शिक्षा के जरिए राष्ट्र निर्माण में भी अपनी अहम भूमिका निभाती है। और यही सेवा भाव स्वास्थ्य सेवा में भी साफ दिखाई देता है। जहां पहुंचना मुश्किल है, वहां भारतीय सेना जरूरी स्वास्थ्य सेवाएं सीधे उन लोगों तक पहुंचाती है जिन्हें इसकी सबसे अधिक जरूरत होती है।
कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स में तिरंगा स्टेडियम की हवा से नहीं लहराया, वो लहराया है इन खिलाड़ियों की सांसों के जोर से। लवलीना बोरगोहेन जी, जय कुमार जी, शर्मिला धानकर जी और अश्मिता जी, जिन्होंने देश के गले में 39 पदक जो है वो डाल दिए। भारत माता की
कॉमनवेल्थ स्पेशल सोमवार से शुक्रवार रात 9 बजे सोनी लाइव और सोनी एंटरटेनमेंट टेलीविजन पर।
Welcome back to the Jailen Stadium in Shillong. Shillong Lajong leading Northeast United by 2-1 after the first 45 minutes. Can they hang on to get the win that they so richly want against their Northeast rivals? This is what's available off the bench. I'm sure subs will be used, Prad, in the second half. Maybe we'll see Partib Gugoi rather than later if Northeast need to get back into this one.
Yeah, certainly the likes of, if you're looking for a goal, Rinswala, Partib Gogoi, those would be the first names you'll be calling upon. But they have to tighten things up at the back because you can see Lajong, even with the current lineup, possibly getting a third. And if you look at that bench, that's not going to inspire you with full confidence if you're a Northeast United fan, knowing the likes of Frankie Buam could be coming on at any moment in the second half. Tremiki can come in and terrorize players in that midfield area, especially in these conditions where it's tough to keep your footing. The defenders are going to struggle. The fleet-footed likes of Tremiki, the pace of Abe, the firepower of Frankie Buam. It's a dangerous-looking Lajong bench.
Well, those fans have waited a long time to see a victory over Northeast United. Will they finally get what they deserve tonight and put out the two-time champions who won't want to give up without a fight, of course? Aladdin Ajere didn't really get the service he required in that first half. He will certainly hope for a little better in front of goal, a great solo goal to put his side in front. So there is one of our guests tonight, Shri Waladmiki Shilla, the Honourable Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs. Very important man in this part of India. And here come the teams for the second half. Has stopped raining by the look of it, so conditions might just start to get a little bit better, but Figo Sunday with a great goal to level things up, and then Jota keeping his head to get the second after Gurmeet went walkabout. East Bengal, Began Sporting Club Delhi already through to the semi-finals. I wonder what the tactics will be for Shillong rather in the second half. Will they go looking for another goal. If they could get a second or a third goal rather and give themselves a 2-goal cushion, then North East really do have to come out and attack them.
Yeah, just looking at the way Shillong Lajong have played over the last 3 games in this competition, the way they played the entire IFL season last year, they're not a team that sits back and says, let's try and protect what we have. The way they can play a little bit deeper, but they are so dangerous in the counter-attack. We saw that with their second goal. That they are a threat and can get from back to front very quickly, and they get numbers forward. It's not just a case of put a long ball over the top and get one of your runners. They get numbers that join from midfield, as we saw with that opportunity for the first goal where Gladdy got into the box. And it was Figo Sindai at the back post, and that's going to be the worry for North East United. That as they push numbers forward, Lajong could hit them on the break.
Shillong Lajong have made a change at half-time. Frankie Baum has come on and Jota has gone off, the goal scorer. Thought he had a good first half, maybe a little bit of a surprise, but maybe that was something that was always planned from Virendra Thapa. See how that changes the shape maybe of Shillong, maybe straight swap in the second half. There he is, wearing number 16. Had started the 3 group games, dropped down to the bench tonight. Third side he's played for in the Durand Cup, having also played for Mohammedan Goa and now Shillong. It's the 135th edition of the Indian Oil Durand Cup, powered by State Bank of India and Coal India Limited, organised by the Indian Armed Forces and supported by the government of Meghalaya. Ashir Akhtar looking long. And Radim, who was the furthest man forward, couldn't bring that one down. Another long ball goes sailing out of play.
Yeah, it's an interesting change at half-time from Virendra Thapa, and you wonder, Frankie Baum having been kept on the bench, it's definitely something that was a planned substitution, knowing that maybe Jota didn't have 90 minutes in him. One of our colleagues on commentary, Rohit Ganguly, always mentioned in the past couple of games and last season how Jota did tend to fade towards the second half of games and didn't really make too much of an impact. Almost has become labelled as a sort of first half player. Maybe Virendra Thapa knowing that Jota doesn't do his share of defensive work out of possession, bringing on the vastly experienced local lad Frankie Baum.
Yeah, Jota certainly had an impact in that first 45 minutes, getting the second goal. Corner to North East United right at the start of the second half. Moyano once again will come across to take it. We'll have to move that ball back a little bit. He's okay. The assistant referee's on this side now. Jitin and Ashia just getting involved a little with Arthur Pangaro and Joe Edson. Satra Stegi's come forward. Pratik Mondal taking no nonsense. Always goes on the pushing and shoving. Now Moyano can get on with business. Needs some quality on the delivery. Doesn't find it though. Out to Radim Talang. Heavy touch. Now Nelson can't quite latch onto that loose ball. Abdul Rabi in towards Jitin. Little push there on Maya Cannon, which will give North East United a free kick.
Not pretty much in that. Frank Vaughan just sort of standing his ground. But It's a needlessly given away free kick. Another opportunity for Moyano to put a dangerous ball into the box.
Stabbed away again. Good defending from Shillong Lajong. Abdul Rabi almost caught in possession. That might be offside, and is offside. Just straight into the northeast half. If he stayed in his own half, then Nelson he'd of course been onside, but just went a fraction early. But Abdul Rabi will be very relieved about that flag.
It's tried to bend and get back onside. That ball should have been played into the space for another Lajong player who was running onto it. And could have really capitalised on that mistake from Abdul Rabi.
Jittin again. Moyano. Well played by Kenstar. Cut out by Radin Talang. You could hear the groans when that ball failed to reach Figo Sindai. Satrastegi. Wide by McCartan. Now Abdul Rabi. Looking to run at Baum. Comfortably dispossessed though. McCartan. He somehow got out of a little tight pocket there with two players around him. Still northeast possession with the throw. Ashir Akhtar launches one high, but comfortable for Joe Edson. Another nudge in the back from Aladdin Ajare, but the ball had gone for a goal kick. He's getting a little bit feisty in the second half.
Yeah, he's getting a little bit frustrated. Here's the first incident that Lajong felt should have been a foul. The referee wondered if he just played advantage or wanting to allow a little bit more physicality in the game. But the second one certainly was a little bit overzealous. And that's why North is frustrated that he didn't get the corner, but it's a clear and obvious series of fouls, and the referee had to give one of them.
So used to winning games in this competition, of course. The last time they were beaten in regulation time or side the 90 minutes was against the Kerala's reserves back in 2022. There is Sri Walad Mickey Schiller, the Honourable Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs. Enjoying the football. Probably enjoying seeing Shillong Lajong lead by 2-1 here. Sindai wriggling his way free. Damate. Kenstar. It is quite hard to believe North East United played in the 2022 edition of the Indian Oil Durand Cup, lost to Odisha 6-0, lost to Army Green, lost to Kerala. But ever since then, it's just been a story of success. They lost out to the semi-final in 23 to East Bengal on pens, one in 24, one in 25. Can they make it 3 in a row? Only East Bengal have won 3 in a row previously. They're still in the competition, of course. Mohun Bagan, the most successful team in the history of the Durand Cup. That stayed in play. Radin thought it had got out. This is Nelson. Or was he hauled down by Ashir Akhtar? He thought he was. The referee says no. Virendra Tapper's fuming on the sidelines as well. North East United might have got away with that one. Moyano. Radin Talang plays it right back across his own area. Eventually, Lee Satrastegi gets the ball away. And another talking point inside the box.
Yeah, that's certainly, when we have another look at it, it looked like a contentious penalty. Nelson just cutting inside. He just lost a little bit of control of the ball. Actually, I think just a little bit stronger. There isn't really too much in that to be given as a penalty. Probably just gone looking for it as soon as he saw the whites of the penalty box and realised there were too many defenders to take on.
Played away by Gurmi. Hasn't had too much to do in terms of shot stopping, Gurmy. Were better in front of goal in terms of chances created, and most of the numbers very much in Shillong Lajong's favour from that first 45 minutes. Good ball down the line for Aladin Ajare. Early ball in, looking for McCartan. Might come here for Epian. And finds the top of the bottom corner to level things up for North East United. And Epian, the new signing, gets his first goal for his new club. Made by Ajare this time. And Shillong couldn't hang on. And eventually, North East United have got back level. It's 2-2. Let's see how Shillong respond once again.
Yeah, it's a good ball down the channel. Aladin puts that into a good position. There's no one coming in late to protect that space. And at the end, times his run. Good first touch. Takes it past a couple of defenders and then just slots it into that far corner, past the despairing dive of Kenstar. And just as Northeast were panicking and ready to make 3 changes, Etiana's got his side back in to the contest, and now you feel with the momentum shifting Northeast way, and probably will be looking to go on to get the third.
Played in the Qatar second division last season with Muatha. 4 goals in 12 games. Here's Jitin. Couldn't bring it under control. Would have been interesting if he'd managed to drag that one down, because he'd have been clearing on goal. It's a better ball over the top. Jitin couldn't quite control it.
Yeah, from early on it's been the threat, that diagonal ball over the top, especially the space between Arthur and Kenstar. It's been an area of weakness for Shillong Lajong since the very first minutes.
North East are preparing a triple change. But they've got themselves level. There's Jitin. He will be one of the players going off. This could be his last interaction in the game, trying to get that ball into Aladin Ajare, but good defending by Shillong.
Yeah, they've certainly got their bit between the teeth. Maybe he's seen his number go up, Jitin, and started to turn it on. He's been poor all game. And that's probably his most telling contribution. The side thought would have been a corner. It's a goal kick having gone off Aladin Ajare. And this is where Lajong need to, they can't sit back and try and hold on for the next 35 plus whatever injury time will be added on. They've got to look to assert themselves as they did in the latter stage of that first half.
Sure, it's up.
Good pressing from Shillong Lajong as Northeast trying to control the game a little bit more, having a lot more possession now in the second half. The likes of McCartan getting more of a stranglehold in the game.
Jitin played across, and surely simple goal for Aladin Ajare, who's on the spot this time to stab home, and North East United have turned this one around short of the hour mark. It was a simple finish in the end. Shillong couldn't get the ball clear. All of a sudden, they've gone wayward at the back. And North East United have taken advantage with 2 goals in 5 minutes. Ajare gets his second of the match, gets his 8th of the tournament, and they're back in the lead once again.
Yeah, just question marks whether Jitin had stayed onside. And once he's in that position, he does the right thing, just rolls it across. The defender just getting his feet all wrong, trying to clear it with his right foot, when he probably should have just used his left foot to try and put it back in the direction it came from. But again, the primary problem, that left-hand channel for Shillong Lajong. They've allowed Northeast to control themselves in the second half, get more control of the ball, and with no pressure on McCartan Nixon in midfield, slid a really good ball through to Jitin, and this is how interesting football can be. Had Lajong held on for a few more minutes before they conceded that equaliser, it was a triple substitution coming in for Northeast United. And the man who's just got the assist now wouldn't have been on the field. So as of now, there is no subs because the man who was going to be coming off has just got an assist.
Maybe a change for Juan Pedro Bernardo. There's Jitin back on defensive duty with Ken Stark trying to put some pressure on him. It's amazing how players can raise their game once they think they might be substituted.
It's also interesting to see, the panic stations had kicked in on the Northeast United bench, and they were going to take such a scare off to make space for Ninkovic, another foreigner in an attacking position. Jitin was due to come off, Promveer was due to come on, as was Parthiv Gogoi. Goal changes everything, and all of a sudden, coaches have decided to stick rather than twist.
I'm sure we will see some changes, but certainly not the ones we were expecting. Anyway, free kick to Shillong. It's a good defensive header. I think McCartan's maybe saying there was either a push or... ball had gone out of play. Another corner to Shillong Lajong. By Ken Starr. Diving header wasn't too far away from Joe Edson.
Should have scored. Joe Edson wondering how on earth he's managed to miss this from just about 6 yards out, right in front of goal. Does well to get ahead of the defender. It's the contact, just can't direct it inside of that post. I'm not sure up there. Gurmeet breathed a sigh of relief. It would have been a great way for Joe Edson to make up for his error.
That's another really good competitive battle between these two near neighbours. That's a hack from McCartan, which will get him a yellow card.
Yeah, I think it's just totting up the number of times that anyone has had to speak to McCartan Nixon on this occasion, just choosing the card rather than the words to send a message.
Ken Starr. Can they come from behind once again? Shillong just cut out before it could reach Bohm, who's switched sides. Moyano. Ken Starr. Bohm once again, what can he do on this near side? Looking to take on Ashir Akhtar. He's got the overlap from Gladdy. Didn't need him. Ken Starr. To run once again, long range shot pushed away, Kirian with a shot and then the follow-up. Should have been better. A brilliant strike from Kirian from long distance. Gurmeet pushed it straight back into play. But Shillong couldn't convert the rebound.
Yeah, Damed with a simple tap in. He's got to hit the target from there. Inside the penalty box, Paul's rebounded. This is what we talked about before the game in these wet conditions. 18 yards out. Could he have taken a touch for the keeper on the ground? Certainly Lajong are not lying down. They're definitely coming at Northeast, and you sense there's going to be a goal in the next 10 minutes.
Joe Edson, powerful run forward for the Brazilians, still going. Just tried to slip that one through to Gladdy, but too many white shirts back behind the ball. Eshian had to avoid the referee. Rame penalised. Still disappointed, no doubt, to not have hit the target with that shot a moment or so ago, and another long ball through will go all the way out of play for a goal kick.
There's feisty challenges between midfield players at the moment. That's where the game is going to be won and lost now.
Gurmit taking as long as is legally possible. Now he'll have to release it within a certain time, of course. Tashir Akhtar. Interestingly, those changes that we're going to make, we were going to see a couple of new players. Ninkovic, who came on for his debut against FC1, and Pramvir, who recently signed from Punjab. The 19-year-old, very highly rated central defender. But it looks as though Ninkovic and Partey are certainly now ready to come on. And we are going to see those changes. On McCartan, it's one of those coming off. Shri Willard Mickey Schiller, the Honourable Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs, the government of Meghalaya. Interested onlooker this evening, as we do get lots of dignitaries for the Durand Cup games, both from the military side and from the civilian side as well. Joe Edson starting to get forward a little bit now, as is Arthur Pengaro, the two Brazilian centre-backs. That's good play though, Satastregui just blocking off Nelson. I just wonder what Virendra Thapa must be thinking now, having got themselves in front and then fallen behind again. Be watching that clock ticking down towards the final quarter of the game and wondering how he can get his side back into it again.
You just wonder whether there was an injury for Jota, because he was holding the ball up well, linking play, bringing others into attack. Does commit defenders. Frankie Boam may not be at full fitness. He hasn't looked like the Frankie Boam of old. He still has about 30 minutes now to change this game.
There's a foul off the ball. The referee's allowed play to run on. Ken Stark gets away from Jitin. Good defending North East United. You see Partey, Gogoi and Ninkovic both on. Partey scored twice in that game against FC1. But for the moment, they're going to have to do some defending. Ninkovic coming back to help out. It's a corner to Shillong Lajong. Taken by Gladdy. Really high hanging ball in. It's Ninkovic with a header. Dean Talang going down injured. Or going down under the challenge, should I say.
Yeah, just drawing the foul from Feifei. Really vastly experienced local lad. Many years coming through the ranks of Shillong Lajong, and had a pretty good career now at North East United as well. It's been a really good contest though between these two sides, pretty evenly matched. You wouldn't be able to tell that they're playing two separate divisions.
That's a great ball in. Hesitation at the back. And Alajare nips in between two once more. Another hat-trick for Aladin Ajare. But that brief little moment of hesitation between the two Brazilian centre-backs, and like a flash, he's got in between them to stab that ball home. And North East United have a 2-goal cushion. They lead by 4 goals to 2. It's a second hat-trick of this 135th Indian Oil Durand Cup for Aladdin Ajare.
Yeah, once again, it's the quality of the delivery. Everyone's asleep on the set piece. Don't pick up Jiti. He gets his head up, whips a wonderful ball in between the defenders. Question marks about that Lajong back four, the two Brazilian centre-backs, all over the place in terms of where they should be defending. And you don't leave this man with a free header inside the 6-yard box, because that's what he will do to you.
Second hat-trick of this edition. That was his 5th for North East United. Scored a hat-trick against Malaysian Armed Forces back in 2024 in this competition as well. North East United, if they go through, well, the winners of this will play Mohun Bagan Super Giant in the second of the semi-finals. Delhi and East Bengal go head-to-head in the first on the 19th of August. There's Joe Edson making his way forward and then clattering into a North East player. It was Ashir Akhtar.
Well, he's won himself a free kick. Just trying to go through Ashir Akhtar. You can't really blame Ashir Akhtar. There's nowhere he can get out of the way. And it looks like he's picked up a yellow card in that process, which is a bit bizarre considering there's no way he can go. But these Lajong centre-backs seem to have some attacking intent. And really have been let down by the lack of defensive ability of their two Brazilians.
Valpe. Flick header, which comfortably watched wide by Gurmi. North East going to make another change. Ashir Akhtar is going to go off, and we are going to see Pramveer coming on for his debut. Here's Ajare in on goal again. Well, the challenge from Joe Edson was just enough to send him tumbling. $18 minutes to go.
Now, once again, in the area of the field where these centre-backs cannot be that far apart.
Is Chitin? Oh, it's the inside of the post. It was a good dummy from Partib, which maybe just wrong-footed the goalkeeper. The flag's gone up for offside. But Chitin, who was going to be taken off not too long ago, has now come up with an assist and almost scored a 5th.
Yeah, I wonder where the offside flag is there for Partib Gogoi. He's just gone and let it go past the goalkeeper. An expression in football, sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good. And that seems to be the case at the moment for North East in terms of how the subs.
Oh, it was Minkovic and almost spilled by Saka.
Talk about sometimes how substitutions can change games. In this case, it's the subs that were planned but didn't happen that have changed the course of the game. The players that have stayed on have managed to get themselves back in the game, and now you probably feel on their way to another semi-final appearance.
Well, here comes Pramveer. There was a bit of a scramble to try and get his signature. Such a highly rated defender, of course. He had such a great season at Punjab last season. He opted to join North East United. Abdul Rabi has done well. Two number 7s up against each other now on that far side.
You just feel, Mark, with the substitution of Frankie Boam coming on and Figo having switched to the opposite flank, he hasn't quite been as effective as he was in the first half. It's a lot of ifs and buts at the moment for Shillong Lajong.
It really is a big hill to climb for them now. He's moved clear of Rodrigo now. Plucked out of the air by Gurmi under no great pressure, the goalkeeper. Looks like Shillong are going to make a triple change. Just in a bid to try and get them something. If they're going to get back into this, you feel they have to get a goal sooner rather than later to give them the lift they need for the final part of the game. Gathered in again by Gurmi.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be bringing on Tremiki, Ephraim, Lalrem Tuanga, and possibly Devormane Tongkor as well.
Again, that's going to run through to Gurmi. Just that final ball, just maybe a little bit too rushed now to get that final ball through. Partib. Redeem. Ninkovic just...
Tongkor. Which is why with the players coming across maybe up to
Great finish from Jitin. And surely that is it now for North East United into the semi-finals once again. Partib held the ball up, and Jitin, who was going to be substituted, as we said, has now got a goal. Hit the post earlier on. Juan Pedro Benali kept him on, and he's repaid that favour. And North East United lead by 5-2.
Yeah, what a turnaround. Lajong just given up, tackling from the wrong direction. And the ball just falling into the path. And just look at it, it's 3v3 in the box. That's how many numbers Lajong have committed forward. And players have just given up in terms of their defending. Partib does brilliantly, draws the defenders out, lays it into Jitin. Gets a touch inside. Takes defenders, keeper, everyone by surprise. They reversed and they're back towards the near post. And he fully deserves getting his name on the team sheet. Talk about a turnaround in the second half. Turnaround from Jitin in his performance. And that's led to a turnaround from North East United. 4 goals in the second half and through to yet another semi-final.
Well, they'll have to be at their very best in the semi-final. They will be playing Mohnbagan. East Bengal and Sporting Club Delhi will be the first semi-final on Wednesday. Hamid. Stopped by Pramvir. First touch for the substitute. Abdul Rabi. Away by Maya. Jitin. And Ninkovic. Just closed down there by Valpay. And then Jitin. Foul by Kiriam. Another free kick to North East. Bit of cramp maybe for Jitin.
Ano chồng? Ano pinam tinggi ra?
มาเทียบยังนั่นอีกมาเทียบยัง
Has been a really good shift in the second half. Experience. Chitin MS. Probably just feeling the conditions.
Yeah, good to see that Jitin's got probably the right boots to play on this pitch as well. There was a lot of talk previously that the players had the moulded studs, but Jitin's clearly got the metal screw-in studs, which much more conducive to playing on this kind of surface.
And you can see the difference. Obviously with the pace that he has, you haven't seen him twisting and turning and falling over. Twisted and turned, left the defenders on their backsides and slotted into the back of the net. That certainly just shows the value.
Balled out by Gurmeet once again. It's almost... At times, Gurmeet has great...
And even if Frankie Baum can conjure up some magic, I think it's all a bit too little, too late.
Here is the record. Bounces wide, Gurmeet not happy. And that ball was allowed to travel that far. Jitin is going to be making Wayne out, as is Aladdin Ajere. This one is beyond Shillong Lajong, but if there's a one-goal advantage, then time wasting does tend to kick in, and players will be punished if they transgress the rules these days in this season.
You just feel, you know, when there's time wasting in the past when players are taking too long to come off, you always felt the referee could have just added that time. But this is certainly a welcome change where the players kept waiting for a minute. And maybe in the future that 1 minute will possibly increase to longer, so it's a genuine punishment and a genuine deterrent.
And of course the old favourite really is the goalkeepers going down, pretending they have cramp plates on. It does mean that now an outfield player has to leave the field for a minute if the goalkeeper goes down and gets treatment. Has finally been allowed to come on, the fourth official.
It's a lot more work now for the fourth official. But a lot of these changes are for the betterment of the game. We haven't seen as many goalkeepers in this tournament going down with cramps. Just the Mohammedan Sporting goalkeeper and one other.
Again, too much on that. Ball forward.
Just looking at this Lajong side now. Look to be going out once again at a similar stage of the competition they've done over the last couple of years. And you feel from last season's team, you're looking at see how they get stronger. They added the three Brazilians in Jota, Arthur, Pangaro, and Joedson. Certainly feel Jota's going to give them something in terms of goals, assists, and hold-up play. Lost.
Just runs out of play for a goal kick.
Seem to want to go to try and keep that ball in. Just slide and put that across the 6-yard box. Just hope one of your teammates are in a position.
Well played. legs having come on in the second half. Ninkovic. Good movement again. That's almost a ball through for Rinzuala. Great vision from Ninkovic. Just too close to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, once again, that huge gap between the two centre-backs. You can drive a bus through there. It's just made that job easier for the midfielders of North East United to slide those passes in.
Trimicki. Went down. Handle the ball though, so free kick to North East United. North East, of course, did meet Began in the final in 2024. They drew 2-2 and won on penalties. Beat Diamond Harbour 6-1 in last year's final. Began standing in their way, but trying to win a third title. Over hit again from Tompa. The referee, I think, has spotted something off the ball there, Pratik Mundal.
And Tompa, once he's got in that kind of position, has got to do a lot better. They feel a lot better is what North East are also going to have to do when they come up against Monbegan, who will also have to raise their game compared to the way he sort of approached it.
Defending Arthur Pangaro, though, to get the block in. The first semi-final on Wednesday the 19th, Thursday the 20th for the second semi-final. Did well there, Rabi. Ninkovic across to take the corner. Just running the clock down. We played the 5 minutes added time. Might just be time to take this corner. North East's fourth of the match. In fact, the referee decides there's no time to take the corner. So, don't see that very often when players are about to take a corner and the full-time whistle goes, but the game is won. Shillong Lajong, who led 2-1 at half-time, have been heavily beaten here. A really good second-half performance by North East United. Aladin Ajare with another hat-trick, Chitin and Etienne on the score sheet. Shillong Lajong 2, North East United 5, full-time score.
Yeah, there's the problem for Shillong Lajong. Too many mistakes from these two men on screen, the two Brazilian centre-backs. You can see that look of disappointment in their face. They know and have cost their sides today. Lajong had a lot more of the possession in the first half. North East came back in the second half, not just in terms of ball possession, shots on target, and most importantly, goals. 4 goals in the second half. When you talk about a game of two halves, today was a perfect example, both in terms of the weather, in terms of how the rain was coming down and how it rained goals instead of rain in the second half.
Yeah, both sides took a little bit of time to settle in the first half with the heavy rain and the heavy pitch, but Aladin Ajare made light of it, skipping around the defender, Joe Edson, and then lovely skills to go around Saka and just roll it into the empty net. How many times have we seen him do that since he moved to India? And he had another goal, the first of another hat-trick in this competition. Really is no stopping him when he's in good form. But Shillong Lajong came back, they got themselves back into it. Vigo Sindai with a great finish, and it was a really good response, having gone a goal down from them.
Yeah, it's terrific response. And once they got that equaliser, they didn't just sit back and say, we're going to try and hold on to this. Not the way Lajong played. They pushed numbers forward, capitalised on the space left by North East United. And Jota with a great run to get in behind. Danced his way past Gurmeet's despairing slide and slotted that home. And at that point you felt Lajong had the bit between their teeth and they looked to get more.
The second half, though, it all turned around. Etienne, the new Spanish striker, getting his first goal for North East United. No shot just inside that far post. And with substitutions about to be made, it all changed. Chitin put one across which wasn't dealt with at the back, and Ajare, well, he doesn't need asking twice, just a simple tap in, but it was a poor defending by Joe Edson, who got the ball under his feet. And you cannot give Ajare chances like that inside the 6-yard box.
You say you can't give Ajari a chance inside the 6-yard box, but that's exactly what Lajong did. They missed one of their own to get back, and this is probably the turning point in the game. As Damait Lindo managed to slot this home, at that point in the game he felt Lajong would have felt they could get something from this game. Switched off from a set piece and once again left Aladdin Ajare unmarked inside the 6-yard box. Joe Edson and Arthur guilty once again of leaving far too much space for the Northeast United attackers. And at that point of the game, Jitin firing in the assist. Juan Pedro Benali felt it was going to be his day. Luck was certainly on their side.
9 goals now in this edition for Aladdin Ajare, denied another there. Just overstretched slightly, the goalkeeper made the save, but then a man who'd set up a couple, got one of his own, Jitin, first goal of this edition, to round off a 4-goal show in the second half for Northeast United and put the game beyond Shillong Lajong. And Northeast United are into the semi-finals, where they will play Mohun Bagan for a place in the final to try and defend for a 3rd successive season. Northeast United winning by 5 goals to 2. Shillong, who led at half-time. Confirmation then of the 2 semi-finals. They were first at the VYBK Stadium in Kolkata on the 19th. Sporting Club Delhi against East Bengal. And then Mohun Bagan Super Giants against Northeast United. That's on the 20th of August. 2 great semi-finals coming up.